All right, what's going on? It's Bobby Skinner of Bobby's Breakdowns doing a draft film breakdown on Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders. I don't really need to explain to you who he is, but I really want this to not be a film breakdown where, I just tell you what he's good at, show a couple plays, we'll tell you what he's bad at, show a couple plays, and then give you a take on him. I want this to be like a meat and potatoes homework type of film breakdown. We're going to go through the good. I think his good attributes is his accuracy. I actually think despite the fact that he's not this great athlete, I do think there's a bit of like creation to his game that I like. There's some bad things that we'll talk about through the sacks, but the big thing I really, really want to go through is the anticipation word, which has been used with Shedeur Sanders. Anticipation. He anticipates so well. He understands offense and defense so well. How could he not with that high completion percentage that he had, record in college football? And there's some in there, we'll show some quick game and stuff, but the anticipation is what I really want to go through, right? And the pre-snap stuff, I really want to go through that. How's he processing post-snap? Because I think those are things that get attributed to Shedeur Sanders, which I think it's debatable on how good he is on those. So let's get into it. Please like and subscribe, and check it out. Let's go. You see the timestamps. I don't know how long this is going to be, but I figure it's going to be kind of long. So first play, what we're going to go through is the deep ball first, because I think what his just flat out, you tell me what's his biggest strength, it's accuracy, and that's obviously going to be shown on throws down the field where he had 25 passing touchdowns on deep passes, one interception, or two interceptions over the last 2 years, completing 44%. Good marks for all of these. So you see, this is what is one of his two best throws that I watched. I went through 7 games of film of this most recent year. I mean, there's not much to break down on this. It's man coverage, 2-man. This safety stays with the slot receiver. This safety is obviously not part of here. So we've got one-on-one. We've got one-on-one for our guy. He's releasing outside. Now, this is a far throw, right? Far hash. We're unloading on the 20, and we're putting a dot on him on the 35. That's a nice 45-yard throw down the field wall from the opposite hash. I mean, you'll see from the other angle, that's beautiful, right? We put it on the outside shoulder. Beautiful football. Right? This is his strength, the accuracy overall over the whole field, but down the field is where you can really strut it. I mean, this end zone view really does it justice of how like a beautiful of a throw this is. Right? And that's not easy, right? You got to, like, again, not this big crazy arm, but like you got to have an NFL arm to make that throw. And I think he does have a solid NFL arm. Here versus the blitz, right? Oklahoma State's going to run a cover 0 blitz. We're gonna take a hit. We know we're taking this hit, and we're gonna just put a beautiful slot fade. Right? We've got a free rusher. We got to get this ball out. We plant, launch. I mean, look at the accuracy on this, right? And this is what a slot fade is supposed to look like, right? It's not the same as an outside receiver. Bam, outside shoulder, receiver's able to, stack that corner. Again, we know we're getting a hit here. Get that ball out. Not just give your receiver a chance, but just put a beautiful, beautiful ball for him. This next play, RPO glance. Now, you're not really going to run these in the NFL, but you will, run a post or the skinny post. Right, we're reading this safety. This safety blitzes down. We've got an area vacated, right? This safety's working to get over and get this with authority. Get your feet playing the ground. Bam, on Hunter, touchdown. Right, reading that safety. I mean, just right on the money, touchdown. And then this next play is what I think is his best throw. So you're going to get, a quarters coverage, cover 4. You're going to run a Mills concept with his, the slot's going to run an in route, a dig, and then the outside receiver running a post, right? And he gets the exact look that Shedeur's looking for here. And you see, he launches this ball. So, right, you got his 2 high shell. We're in cover 4 coverage. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have the in route right here. And the read is this player, right? You want this player to take the in route, and which is exactly what he does. And this is just quick Good read by Shedeur. Right? Reading this safety as soon as he turns his hips, right? Not waiting for him to, chase this down and totally bail on his coverage. As soon as he turns his hips, we're launching that ball. Right? Corners got outside leverage. Let's let 14, our big receiver, Shepard, make a play. Bam. I mean, again, this is what, again, and I watched 7 games of film. You'll see the games, BYU, UCF, Oklahoma State, Kansas, Arizona, Nebraska. But good job, staying clean in the pocket. Bam, puts a beautiful football on him. And then it's just consistent, right? Like here, this is, a 15-yard touchdown. Yeah, another RPO look. You got the one-on-one out here. Perfect placement. You got to get the ball out quick. Point. Get your feet set. Perfectly out here. Right? They called this not a touchdown, then ended up overturning it. Just like a perfectly placed football for the receiver. And then giving guys a chance on the back shoulder. This receiver up top. Right? Again, versus this cover 1 corner blitz. You got man coverage. You got this too high look. This corner is going to blitz. This safety will replace. And then this safety takes those middle field responsibilities. So we got the blitz. We know we're getting hit. Give our bigger receiver a chance. Could you ask for a little more of a perfect football outside shoulder, but just give him a chance. And that's what he does, right? And that's, obviously you always want like those perfectly thrown outside shoulder, stack the corners. But some parts of being deep accuracy is when your receiver hasn't fully won, just throw him the ball. Throw him the ball, let him go and make a play. See here another slot fade to down here. Right? Just regular man coverage. Just put it outside. Let your receiver turn, defend the ball with his back, adjust, make a play. Right? Read that middle safety. Bam. Just good stuff. So again, not everyone's perfect, but he's usually given his receivers a chance, and I think that's why he had so much success on. And when people, say, "Oh, what is his number one strength?" This is it. It's the overall accuracy, and then you see the ball deep down the field be accurate. Is there misses? Sure, there's a couple that are going to play right now, but you don't see these egregious misses, and you also don't see the misses that turn into interceptions, right? That allow the safety to come over and make the play. So I think he makes good decisions when doing it. Lets guys go and make plays, and obviously there's going to be some gaffes in there, but I think he's good pushing the ball down the field. He throws it, at a modest rate. We'll see how it goes in the NFL, but you like seeing him throw that ball deep down the sideline. The next part of Shedeur's game I want to go through, which is physically, is creation. Obviously, he's not this great athlete, and you hear people talk about that, and it is a negative part of his game because that's just the way the NFL is now. The creation, the athleticism, it's kind of an expected thing, but you can obviously survive and thrive without it. And what I think he's really good at is making the first guy miss in the pocket. Now, that could be different against NFL defensive linemen. It will be different than NFL defensive linemen, but I think he does have a good feel to do that and create and keep his eyes downfield and deliver an accurate ball on the run. Now, we're going to talk about sacks later on in this video, and I think it leads to more of a negative at times, but you do see if he can cut down on some of the sacks that there's some creation stuff to his game. And he's able to stay accurate and see things downfield. So let's get into it. First play here versus Oklahoma State. It's 3rd and 6, and they're going to run mesh. And guess what? Nobody's open, right? Maybe at this point you can fire in the sit here, but you have these two guys playing underneath. That's a throw that can be made, but I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, how did he not make it? The two mesh receivers are not there. The running back is not there. But so let's buy time. Like I said, it's 3rd and 6. You don't want to drive yourself out of field goal range, which we'll talk about in the sack portion of the video. But let's live. Let's live and try and win instead of checking the ball down to your back. So you make this defense tackle miss, keep your eyes downfield, and you got your receiver in the corner who's able to celebrate. From the other angle. Again, we saw guys just really aren't open, right? You can Monday morning quarterback the check down at this point right here, but even then you have the corner down here. So again, I think he does a good job, like feeling where this player is, step up in the pocket, keep your eyes downfield. Easy money touchdown. Here versus Kansas State. Again, nobody open, right? There's just nothing here. Right now, maybe here, where like you fire this ball in the Travis Hunter here, but you've got this pressure on you, but able to step up, and now we got to let's make this player commit, and then you find 14 for the touchdown. Right, it's not open. You got this D lineman step up. Now, hey, if this player bails to 14, then we'll throw it to 10 here. Sorry, not Travis Hunter. Throw it to 10 here. He stays, he sits, puts it on him, touchdown. I kind of love the Colorado receiver celebrations, by the way. Here versus Kansas State again. Right up top, you're going to run like a slant whip combination, and Kansas State has it covered. Right, this safety steps down. He's in this window, and he's working with Hunter. Right? Not there. On the backside, you've got these two vertical, this vertical and this out route, but at this time you've got pressure, and this receiver is not in a spot where you can anticipate this out route being open. So Hunter's going to come across the field, and you'll see it in the end zone view of his line of vision. Right, it's not there. You see that, like, you got this pressure, step up and run. We know. He knows at this point. I'm just waiting for Hunter to get in a spot where I can throw this ball, put it on. Perfectly accurate. And Hunter's going to take a blow, but like nice, accurate ball. Here, versus cover 2 against UCF. I don't know what happens here, but I promise you this play is not ran the correct way. I promise you that these two wide receivers are not supposed to run into this. So Shedeur, he's got nowhere to throw this. Right, like maybe you fire in this check down here, but he's got nowhere to throw this. And you see, like, is he this great athlete? Nobody's able to make guys miss. And he finds, lets Travis go and make a play. On this sprint out, you have the pressure. Again, making 5. Again, if you want to sit here and say the NFL defensive lineman, that's not going to happen to, I actually kind of agree with you, but I think he was able to, like, feel that. And, he can learn to feel the difference between NFL and college defensive linemen. Here versus Oklahoma State. Going to run double 7 China. The 2 ends and then the corner. It's just not there. Right there, zone coverage just totally has it covered. It's not there. You get pressure up the middle. Again, let's find Trav. Find Hunter. It's just not there. Find it. On the same page of Hunter. Now, I'd like this ball to be out here instead of right here because it almost gets intercepted, but it doesn't, and he's able to get a touchdown. Now, again, you're going to see in the sack, it's going to show up in the sack portion of the video mostly, where there's just, sometimes there's really bad processing and there's bad pre-snap, and there's a reliance on this, which worries me. So here versus Kansas, you have the 2 deep safeties, and the cover 6 coverage, which is, half the field cover 2, half the field cover 4. It's basically just a 3 deep zone, just, in a fancy way. I feel like it just gave him so many different issues, right? Because it's not the same coverage on either half of the field. So pre-snap, we're going to be running these seams with the slots, and then your outside receivers are going to run, curls or hitches, right? So you get these 2 deep safety looks. Pre-snap, which side of the field should we be picking, right? Which side of the field should we be picking? Here you've got 3 for 2, and then you have 3 for 2 here, and then this linebacker on the back. Right, this linebacker doesn't declare either way. So pre-snap, knowing the route combination that we have, which side should we be picking? We should be picking the side with the off coverage. Because you pick that side, guess what? You throw this curl with timing. It's there. It's the correct leverage. You throw it. You got yourself a nice, easy first down pitch and catch. But for some reason, our eyes go to the right first, like a bad pre-snap read, because like what the routes are going to be. Now you're not throwing this, but he gets to the backside and still doesn't throw it. So now let's run around, right? So this is a bad read. Let's run around, and you see like he's accurate, but he able to move, run away from these guys, step up, make a throw to Hunter. Hunter's wide open, and we skip this throw. Like, it's cool to make all these guys miss again, but I just don't think he's the athlete that's going to be able to survive off that, but you see it. And again, he's not going to be this great runner, but you do see him scramble for rushing yards. I think he'll use that in the NFL. There's a tendency to drift to some of these sideline throws that he's got to make, but he does make them when he has to, on throws like these. So again, I think this is a strength in his game. I don't know how much of it's going to translate, but I do think like there's just a natural like gamer feel for when he's got the rush on him and him being able to create and make a play. All right, the next meat and potatoes of this breakdown is going to be the processing, the game between the ears. And I'm not going to sit here and bore you some quick game and some playing on the screen right now. He can run spot, stick, double slant, whatever quick game concept. When he's got quick game dialed up and you get a blitz at him, like he's going to know where to go. He's going to get it on there accurately, knowing where the blitz is coming from. Like he's able to do that, right? Drift away from that pressure when it's there. Now that also get him in trouble. Like, here versus Nebraska, right? We're going to get a zero blitz, right? Man coverage across the board. He sees it. We've got slant flat. He knows exactly where he's going, right? As long as they're not switching this coverage, they stay in man coverage, gets the ball out there, touchdown. So like he's able to do those things. Like we're not going to go through a bunch of quick game, but there is question marks when it's not these easy, this is the easy what the coverage is. This is where my easy read is. And I just want to focus right now on like post-snap rotation from defenses, right? Throwing different looks post-snap compared to what you get pre-snap. And this is where I get like a little dumbfounded on this, like, oh, he's this great processor. Because I don't see it. I see some decent processing when he knows what the defense is. But I see anytime there's like some confusion, I see the hesitancy, right? I don't see this great anticipation that's out there. So let's go through it. This first play, right? This nickel corner is going to back out, and they're going to get into a cover 4 coverage while also clouding the receiver down here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, you have your cover 4 coverage, right? But instead of this corner doing it, you switch, right? You just basically switch their responsibilities. They only rush 3, so they drop 8, so they get to have 4 on the line, 4 covering deep. And I don't know what Sanders is expecting. But one thing I do know what he's expecting is he's just believing that this clear out route is going to remove this safety. That it is just that is 100% going to happen. That's going to remove this safety, and we're going to throw the dig in the hole right here. And you see the safety is reading his eyes the whole way, right? He knows exactly what's coming. He's got to clear out. He's going to pass it off to this player and jump, and we get an interception on Shedeur Sanders, right? And now 2 years ago, he only had 3 interceptions. He had 10 this past year, 2.1% interception rate. I mean, that's bottom half of the NFL. Here versus Kansas, this one's really frustrating. They're going to run 4 verts, a switch release. Right, so you see 4 verticals, and you see they switch their sides. This is the perfect call. And for some reason, Shedeur Sanders throws this so late and it ends up being broken up. And he has the lack of the zip on the football. Just watch this receiver and don't look at the quarterback and tell me when expecting this ball to come out. Easy, 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 easy. And he's sitting here waiting on it. I mean, it's leaving Shedeur's hands now. Instead of now, he's sitting there waiting on it. So it's late, right? I mean, this is not like a case of, oh, well, the first read is over here. No, right? They send these guys out here. This is easy. Pull the trigger. You get an easy touchdown. And we're late. That ball lacks zip. and it gets broken up. And that should have been an easy touchdown pass, and it gets broken up. Right? Like, it's just this idea that I see him, he's so far ahead of the game, right? He knows where guys are going to go. He processes. I see issues, man. Here versus Oklahoma State. Right? You got the two safeties. This is about as simple. I mean, you see this 10 times a game in the NFL. They're going to rotate into cover 3. Right? So this safety over here bails the middle of the field. The safety takes this role. And this is where Shedeur is looking play side. Right? And you're going to say nitpicking because he ends up completing this pass. You're going to see Shedeur's eyes from the other view. The seams. The seams versus cover 3. If they don't match versus cover 3 up the seams, easy touchdown. Right? That's the reason like cover 3 match coverage was created. And we throw here, and if you're watching on TV, you see this little wrap concept, and you see that's some pretty good timing here. And you're like, Bob, you're nitpicking. You completed the pass. Well, guess what? Now it's 2nd and goal because of a penalty. And here's what the next play is. A sack. So you may say I'm nitpicking about one play, but that one play is a difference of 4 points in the game. You know, here versus Nebraska, man, this one's going to be frustrating. Because what are we looking at, right? If you're saying we're not looking at, like, so you see we have on a line, right? You got all these guys in the box. You know, you got 6 for guys in the box, 5 in protection. You're an empty. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across the lines, right? So he's probably expecting some type of man coverage, like a cover 0 blitz. And they do blitz, but they drop the end. This safety rotates the middle of the field, and you've got a cover 3 coverage, a cover 3 coverage. And guess what is open against cover 3? The seams. And guess where Shedeur's eyes are? Pre-snap, this side of the field. The seam is there. It is there. It is there if you're late. It's there if you're very late. And for some reason, we don't pull the trigger on this. You know, and this is where the arm talent stuff matters, because if you have a big arm, you can be a little late on things like this, right? You could be a little late. You put this ball out there off your back foot, you make a wow play, and you win awards. You win playoff games. But instead, if we don't trust our arm, we don't pull this, and you're going to say, well, Bobby, that's not what his read was. That's not what his read was. Okay, tell me what the read is, right? First, let's see his eyes, right? Reading this player. You're telling me we're not reading this? Because if we're not reading this, why are we not throwing here? Pull this. And there's just this hesitancy. Doesn't trust what he's seeing. Ends up throwing the ball away. You know, and this other play versus Nebraska, right? They're going to do a 5-man rush out of cover 2. So cover 2, which already you're taking some risk, leaving some spots open. They're going to blitz out of it. And Shedeur, for some reason, you've got 4 for 3 here. You got 2 for 1. Sees this, right? You see these safeties bail. They're in cover 2. And you have the seam. And this middle defender is not carrying this vertically like a Tampa 2. And for some reason, we get off of that, right? Instead of seeing these safeties split like the Red Sea, let's not just check and see what we've got here. We go to the other side where we've got a guaranteed double coverage. Right? You've got guaranteed attention here. For some reason, you run up and take a sack. I mean, why are our eyes getting off of this? Like, forget to take the sack. I mean, you just gave up points. You know, here versus UCF. Right? Cool blitz here, right? You got 5 on the line. You've got this player here. Now, you should have some giveaways when you see the safety stack on this corner and him cheating. But you're going to have a nickel blitz. This player is going to rotate over to this side of the field. And Shedeur thinks, okay, well, he's out of the picture. We've got this wrap concept with the dig and the pivot. Right, so we're going to read this defender. This defender chases on that. Oh, we got the wrap. Throw it. Throw it. He's already committed. Throw it. But instead, because of this pressure over here, we want to make sure he's open. And this ball's coming out now when he's fully committed. And you don't see this player from the backside come and pick this off. You see, like, good job identifying the blitz. Let's get to the wrap concept. Right? We know he got that pressure. This guy has to commit. So just slide. Slide and make the throw. Instead, we scramble, throw it across our body, interception. You know, this next play. Or you're going to get cover 6. You know, cover 4 to the boundary, cover 6, cover 2 to the field. So, I like what Shedeur's looking at here. You have curl flat up top, Hank. I don't know why we open outside by this receiver, but the easy throw is right here. Throw here. Right, this is the easy throw. As my phone keeps ringing despite it being on Do Not Disturb. This could be the easy throw. But guess what? We see this safety sitting on this. And we know we've got like this bender, this seam over getting. Right? With this safety not having leverage. Then step up in the pocket and throw it. Throw it out here. This safety's done. Instead, we want to scramble. Instead of just stepping up in the pocket, that pressure. Reset, man. It's there, right? You know you've got the read you're looking for. Reset. Instead, we scramble. And we throw a weird ball into double coverage, man. And I just feel like these issues show up consistently. And we're going to get to some good throws here in a minute, right? It's not that it's all bad, right? He didn't have the success that he had at college by being, you know, the most terrible quarterback in the NFL and having no good throws. My issue is that this is what's supposed to be his superpower, right? The anticipation, reading the defense, finding it. Like, that's just, to me, not the case on film, right? It's just not. You know, you look at the last 5 draft classes, if you include this year with the first-round quarterbacks, and I threw Shedeur, Dart, and Ward in there, he has the lowest amount of throws between 10 and 20%, right? And it's not like he's up there with the deep ones. He's bottom 5 in those guys. You say, well, he's Joe Burrow from the pocket. Okay. Shedeur throws the 10 to 20 range 16%, Joe Burrow 22%. That's a lot higher, right? Especially when you think of fact threw it deeper. And you tell me, well, Bobby, that was when, all the weapons came at LSU. The year before, he wasn't as good. Okay, but he still threw these passes at a high rate, right? So Shedeur doesn't throw them at this big high rate. And I just don't see this anticipation and this reading of defenses that other people see. You see some good stuff, but when this is your superpower, I need you to be better at it, and I just don't consistently see it. You see little flashes of it, but when you're a player who doesn't have the big arm, we need more than flashes. We need to see consistency. So, I mean, let's go through another handful of plays before we get into some good. Like this is a basic coverage, right? There's a 4-man rush, no stunts, a basic cover 2. A basic cover 2, right? We have two, we have at the bottom, you have that double 7 China with the 2 ends in the corner. But Shedeur's first looking at this. Right? You want to show me great anticipation? Throw this, what he's looking at. You say, well, that's not the read, Bobby. Okay, that's fine. And we'll go and look at his eyes. Is this the read? Is this the read? Because if he's looking to that side, he didn't hit any of it. So now, hey, we'll scramble out. We'll get a nice 8-yard pass to Travis Hunter. And everyone on TV will say, good job creating. But we got our eyes locked on here. Where's this anticipation? Where's this great pre-snap? Look, he even gets off of it. Hit it. Nope. Scramble. Help Travis Hunter's Heisman case. This play against BYU in the bowl game, this will be one that I guarantee, they hit the receiver's hands. Okay, sure. If you want to just talk about this game as a college football game in that itself, I want to see the great anticipation, right? Because you're going to need to hit these hole shots, right? A basic cover two. You're going to need to hit these hole shots. And by the way, they're not going to be these types of holes. They're going to be tight. And if you don't have a big time arm, you're going to need great anticipation. Even with a big arm, you need good anticipation. I mean, look at this, right? What are we waiting for, Shedeur? Tell me, what are we waiting for? Let me pull that trigger now. We're waiting. Now the receiver's waiting for it. So now when you don't have the great arm strength, despite the fact that this should have been completed 9 times out of 10, well, here's the 10th, and this safety, you get your receiver killed. And yeah, is it bad luck that this player came over and caught the ball? Yes. Is it bad luck that it turned into an interception? Yes. Is it bad luck that this is a bad play? Absolutely not. I mean, it's there, right? And I'm not sitting here Monday morning quarterbacking, right? I watch NFL film every week. I watch when the guys don't make this throw and when they do. You got intercepted and your dude killed, man. You know, here, this concept that, LSU, got Joe Burrow on the mind, Colorado like to run, right? Where it's shallow cross, right? So you have the shallow. And then instead of having the sit right here, they'll take it vertical, right? But the read player is this player right here. Because if this player carries, you throw the Travis Hunter. If this player sits, you would throw the sit or, in this case, the seam, right? These receivers are not part of the route progression. It's a 2-man route. Unless you want to throw an alert. But in reality, it's a 2-man route. Where's the great anticipation? This player sits. I mean, just a basic back out. And again, you watch it from TV, gets a nice little scramble, you don't realize. You put on the tape. Where's the great anticipation? I don't see it. You know, here, 4th and 2, right? The 3rd and 2 before this was bad. I don't feel like breaking that play down. Right, we got a trail concept. So we missed this throw, right? Again, we know where we're going. Trust it, man. Throw this ball past this linebacker's head. Step up, take a step up in the pocket and throw this ball. Instead, we got to make sure. So we step up, scramble, and it's behind him, right? Probably would have given up a big hit again too if even if he throws that on target. It's just frustrating though. You know, and like even simple stuff like this. This is 2nd and 10. They're gonna run 4 verts, right? You know what the beauty of the 4 verts is? If they sag, you just throw the check down, right? Just throw the check down, right? They're sagging on this. Nope. We bail out of the back of the pocket. Right? You see the back's reaction. Throw the check down. Yep. Right? And then, we have this throwaway, not a fumble, whatever, but like that's frustrating to watch, man. And like I said, it's not all terrible, right? Like you do see moments of good anticipation and stuff. We'll go through a handful of throws here. Here 3-man rush, right? A couple of these are on 3-man rush, cover 2, right? So they just got everything covered underneath, and man, they want to take away this check down. They're running a form of 4 verts, hit the seam, right? You see where Shedeur's vision is. Right, sees all these players back out. Right, let's check. 19's pushing out. Bam, on it. Nice anticipation. Here versus Kansas. Right, we're gonna get a kind of a whole shot. Weird coverage from Kansas. Not exactly sure what's going on. Maybe some type of miscommunication. Where this player is supposed to stay in man coverage. I generally don't know, but I think he's supposed to stay in man coverage. Regardless, though. They run this spacing concept. Shedeur doesn't like it. He's got man coverage, so he wants to check back on Hunter. And then this corner's sitting, so all right, pull it. Now you got this safety. Take a little off of it, right? So that safety's not able to get over there. Now maybe that's intentional, maybe that's not, I don't know. But it sure seems like it, right? I mean, we got pressure bailing down on us. Take some of off it. Doesn't allow that safety to come over and make a big hit. And then Hunter's able to do the rest and hit the Heisman pose. Next play. Here, like, hey, an inverted coverage, right? You have this single safety. Right. Well, we're going to take the outside corner. He's going to back out. Looks like Tampa 2, right? That's exactly what it is. Colorado runs a post wheel concept. Right, even though it's a weird way to get to it. But all right, we're reading this player, right? We can't really pull the trigger on this right now unless you really fire that bitch in, because he can turn his hips. Make him commit, right? This player commits, pull the trigger. Good accuracy. Again, don't lead him into a hit. Put on his back shoulder. Get a nice 20, 25-yard chunk play. Read the middle of the field, inside out. Nice play. And here in these, this Y cross. Again, a 3-man rush. They're in cover 1. Right, they're in a cover 1, though, where these two players are responsible for the running back. The running back goes this way. So now you have these two underneath defenders, right? Man coverage. Like, you have these two underneath defenders and the safety. Like, we got to fit it in that window. We check up top. We don't want the speed out. See it from the other angle. Just, solid anticipation on this. Right, we check it. At this point, we know we're getting to the Y cross. We're just reading these two defenders. Keep them honest. Put a nice play. And then here versus Nebraska. Right, this time, same concept versus cover 2. Right, this inverted 2. They're bailing out. They've got me a lot of open space. The bubble out here, the go. So he's paying attention to the bubble. So Shedeur knows at this point, all right, this linebacker's widening out. We're going to throw it right past his ears. And then puts a dime on him. Sets him up for yak. Takes a big hit. But again, it's a 1, 2, 3 progression. 1, 2. All right. Let's keep him wide. Bam. So again, I think the bad outweighs the good, but there is good there and it's something he can grow into. It's just a question of what are we betting on with Shedeur Sanders. And we'll finish off with sacks that Shedeur creates and the panic plays out of pressure. This is where this will really get you in the NFL. And I do think the fact that the whole sacks are a quarterback stat has become more prevalent than what it's actually meant. Because his offensive line was really bad at times, right? The Nebraska game. Those sacks, I don't blame those on Shedeur Sanders. But there is a lot that he's created, and he didn't just take him sacks. He'd take them and lose an extra 10 yards by running backwards. He drifts into them. He holds onto the ball too long. And then when he's getting that constant pressure, you do see panic plays. And that'll get you. How do you deal with that consistent pressure? Because there will be times that you have that in the NFL. But so let's get into it. This play, this isn't the worst, just quote-unquote sack that he took on this. This is against BYU, right? But this, I feel like, is one of the more frustrating because we drift into a sack, right? So it shouldn't have been a sack. So we drift into the sack, and we run all the way backwards, and we take us into the Colorado. They end up missing this field goal, right? Just compounding bad mistake on bad mistake. Now, could he step up in the pocket and possibly hit this throw? Yeah, it'd be a tough throw. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, he should have got that. You have this player playing underneath. But What you don't want to do is exactly what he did. I mean, the pressure is going to come from here. And he has this bad habit, man, and you see it on some of the, the deep out routes. When he knows where he wants to go, he just drifts into it, right? Instead of step up in the pocket, man. Stay on the hash. Instead, we drift into the sack. I mean, and just create a mess. Here versus Kansas State. That 7 China concept again. Here it is. Right here. Easy. Throw it. Get it done, right? And this is where it's like, oh, he's like, the pre-snap, everything. This is a basic coverage. This is one of those, or it's not basic, one of those inverted coverages. Throw it. It's there. That's his first read. That's your first read. Throw it. What are we doing? Like, I just don't understand what we're doing here. It's your read. Throw it. Instead, we run away. I can't remember if they called intentional grounding on this one. I think they did. But I mean, that's just brutal. Here versus Travis Hunter, right? Come on, show me this anticipation. Throw this ball to Travis Hunter where it's designed to go. Instead, we take a sack that takes us out of field goal range on third down. This is it. Throw it. What are we doing? Taking a useless sack. Here versus UCF. Quick game, right? The stick. Running the stick concept. I mean, you're either throwing here or you're throwing here. Both are. This was where you should go. This is there if you really don't trust this because it's a bang play. But that's the NFL. That's college football. The quick concept that's the point of it. It's got to be quick. It's got a timing. Nope. We run around. We take a sack. Throw it. Sack. And then what you really can't have is, like, again, this Nebraska game, it's his worst game statistically, but it's, I think it's when his surrounding cast let him down the most, at least in the 7 games I watched. Like, I'll say, you're backed up in the end zone. What is this play call? Where's your outlets? What are you trying to accomplish here? But what you can't do is sit back there, have your feet unsettled, and when Travis Hunter's not open the way you thought he'd be open, just throw a pick six like this. I mean, that's the type of throw that gets you pulled from a game. I mean, that's just panic, right? You've been dealing with pressure. You know where you are. You're worried. You throw it here. Here versus BYU. Struggled a lot in this game. This was a really bad game for him. Let's make it worse. We're dealing with pressure. We don't want to throw this whole shot. This is not really open, right? Not mad at you for this not being a good play. But turning it into this is just... That's a mess, dude. And, here versus Kansas State. Now, this play, I'm going to put it on here, but this I don't think is super indicative. Like, you don't see misses like this, really. Again, you see the Nebraska, like, that happens. Here, there is pressure. And he just sails this, right? But at the same time, like, NFL, man, you got pressure at your feet. You got man coverage. You got to at least get this in the vicinity. Instead, we oversail it to the post safety. And you can talk about pressure or whatever all you want, man. That's brutal, right? And that was coming after, one of his best throws that I've seen. So you just can't have those panic plays. And again, he created sacks like crazy. You see panic throws here. You'll see other sacks that are just pretty brutal to watch as we close out this video. So, like, what do I think of Shedeur Sanders without spending another 10 minutes on this? I do not think his arm and his athleticism is the reason why I don't like him. It's my reason why I'm not betting on him making all this growth in the intermediate game and anticipation and post snap processing, right? Like those are things you get better at with time. I think he lasts in the NFL, right? His best our best attribute, what I said before, is accuracy. You have accuracy. You have a good enough NFL arm. You've got the confidence. Understand the game. You'll get better at that stuff. Like he'll last in the NFL, right? I'm not sitting here saying this guy can't make it in the NFL. If he doesn't lose his confidence and, 3-4 years down the road, I think he can be a solid starter. But what I don't expect him to be is this savior of a franchise. I just do not think he is this processor, this anticipator that is going to help him get along without the athleticism and arm talent that it does other younger guys, right? And those guys still struggle early on. So I just would recalibrate your expectations for Shedeur Sanders if you view him as, a top 10 first round pick. I think in reality is he's probably someone who grades out as a low second, third rounder, and he ends up going in the second round because you always bump up the quarterbacks around. But man, forget all the he's Deion's kid, whatever. Screw all that. But the film just does not show someone that you take in the first round. Unless you're desperate, which I think a lot of teams are desperate. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, all that good stuff. We will see you on the next one. Cam Ward breakdown coming soon. Until then, appreciate you.